of looked like there was something wrong with the camera just now. I don't know, so we'll see if this works. This Texas thing, it's beyond anything I've ever seen. I mean, I can't fathom what these people are going through. I can't believe, I want to say we let this happen, because it's been days now, and it was obvious to me that very quickly, if people could have got stuff down there, that they would have been okay. Not okay, not everybody obviously, but more help in the neighboring states, or any state should have been like, just come for a couple days, come quickly. And I don't know if everybody's just completely mentally deranged and just indifferent to the suffering of others because everybody's so afraid of the coronavirus, or what, you know, if the lockdown measures have got everybody being like, it's my problem, you know, it's not my problem, I'm trying to protect myself. Everybody's so busy trying to protect themselves. I don't know if that's what's going on, but the response has been ridiculous. And I think if any other president, red or blue, was in power right now, they'd be like, why isn't he on TV saying stuff? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? We know why. In this case, this is not somebody who can, anyway, go without a script. So if the people behind the scenes who are running things don't seem to care about Texas, if they're playing politics maybe or whatever, I don't know. But the thing is, I mean, this, like I said before, this is a long process to get to this, where everything's so screwed up. And honestly, like I said, I don't drive. I didn't know, because I was watching a video of this guy who does some kind of YouTube thing all the time, and he was showing how his house got messed up, and he said how the gas also, like, you can go to the gas station, but they're closed because their power's also out, and gas pump works on power. I didn't even think of that. You know what I mean? So when I was saying everybody should get the hell out of Texas, they can't. If they didn't already have a full tank of gas. I mean, and I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about how every time we get a storm or a hurricane or something like that, they say, fill up your gas tank. I mean, again, for those of us who don't have a car, it doesn't matter anyway. But I'm talking about regular people. It never occurred to me why they say that. If it's because they've known that the gas pumps need electricity, and should the electricity go out everywhere, there's not going to be an ability to get gas. If that's the reason, I never heard it before. So to hear that and know you can't go down and get gas, I mean, it's the most, you want to call it a perfect storm. It's a perfect storm of all the things going wrong because electricity is so necessary. I'm sorry, the new frontier, you know, was supposed to be computers and everything and technology and stuff. Technology is not saving us, okay? They've got wind, they've got solar. That's not saving anybody. You got dinglings who are still going to act like, if we want to fix climate change and stuff, we got to try to have 100% renewable energy or whatever. This stuff, it's not sustainable. The crap that they're trying to always push to fix the environment or whatever, it's not going to happen anyway. Even Al Gore himself already said we've gone past the point of fixing anything. So that's why I started saying a long time ago on Twitter or wherever, it's time to just get ready for everything. Get ready for every kind of weather. And I know I haven't done that. I don't have the money to do it. If I did, I would try to have myself in a situation where I could live off the grid, because the grid, without it, it's clear we're all going to die, because too many things are dependent on that. Too many people. Every time the power goes out, you hear about how people have to keep their insulin. If they have diabetes, they have to keep it in a fridge, or any kind of medicines people need to keep in a fridge. Too many people are it's not they have a choice in a way, but just too dependent on things being the way they've evolved into this technological society, that once something goes wrong, once the power goes out, that's it. We're all done. I mean, there was that movie Blindness. I forgot what happened in that movie Blindness. Everybody went blind. Anyway, it was like 2 seconds later, it was like the worst. People were just animals again. And it's like, we depend so much on everything being exactly how it is. I mean, if the internet was to go down, even if power stayed on, if the internet was to go down, everybody'd lose their minds. The way they have us always trying to do stuff by the internet, they want us to, you can't do that, because you have to acknowledge the fact that things can go wrong. This is why when they always bring up voting online, I was like, no, you have to have a paper trail to prove that who voted for who. Now look what happened this past year. Look at all the recounts and everything else. We still don't know what happened for sure, because a lot of people don't trust it. I don't trust it, because the way things are, they can be manipulated, they could be tampered with. If somebody wanted to hack us, they could hack us and shut us down, shut the whole country down. Could you imagine if the whole country's power went down? This is what I'm saying. We can't live like this. We have to. I'm saying we, I mean humanity, mankind. I can't do crap. You know what I mean? I don't have anything. I don't have the resources, because I can't function in this world. I'm not good at this human thing. Okay, so where money's involved, I fail. And unfortunately, this society has run on money. I've already got problems with that. But let's talk about the technology part of it. The internet has made everything worse. There are enough of us who remember life before the internet. I like it for some things. It was good for a while. But the way people depend on it, the way they let it make them so stupid by just reading. I mean, I like Twitter, but if you're only reading headlines and not the article, if you're only reading what somebody retweeted in a snippet and you're going, it's worse than a sewing circle or the grapevine, with people just kind of hearing that somebody said something and then they're canceled. We have to go back to basics. We have to go back to nature. There's too much technology, too many drugs, too much artificial shit influencing our lives and ruining the world. And if we don't go back, not forward, not more technology, not let's give the 5G and let's have everybody do everything remotely through the internet. This is the wrong way. We have to go back. I mean, there were times years ago where I used to say, you know what? I think I like the Old West better. You know, back in the day when, you know, if somebody, you know, did something to you, you had the right to, you know, somebody tried to kill you, you had the right to shoot them back. You know, things were more fair and more. It was the Old West, so it was like outlaws and it seemed tough and everything like that. But suppose in the Old West, like suppose back in Tombstone, right, the power went out. You know what I mean? These people knew how to live. Oh, the mailman's here. I thought that was a mailman. It wasn't anything. Like the door, something with the door. So what I was saying was, technology, it can fail so easily. We shouldn't depend on it. And I've already thought that we should go back. I could not have imagined everything in Texas being on electricity. Like I said, the gas thing, that threw me for a loop, because I was saying, get out of there, everybody run away from Texas. And I had no idea the gas pumps needed electricity. They had the wind power, which apparently those things froze. They had the solar power, which we already know solar power doesn't do much, you know. But I mean, we gotta live less dependent on any kind of energy. I mean, for transportation, we should have transportation like that doesn't need, so you know, that gases back up for like high-speed trains, things like that, hovercraft, whatever. You know, what did the DeLorean run on? Garbage and bananas and whatnot. And Back to the Future. We have to, apart from transportation, right? We should be living more normal. We should have things be more hang crank or run on gerbils or hamsters, and I just, not to have it that way, but in the event of electronic failure, we shouldn't, a bunch of people shouldn't be dying because the power went out. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world, because like I said, growing up, the only thing I thought about was the TV won't be on and you just have to listen to the radio with batteries. You know, never in my life did I think everything would fall apart. I don't understand. I guess their houses, like I said, their houses aren't insulated, which means there's nothing close to what they just went through happened before. But this new frontier, like I said, no, we got to go back to the old west. It makes so much sense. Those people, they didn't have TVs, so what? They had saloons. You know, they had entertainment. You know, they could ride their horses. They could, you know, shoot bottles or whatever. They had stuff to do. They could read books. They could do, like, I don't know, could knit. Was that so bad? You know? I just can't believe we got to go back more towards nature. Everything is taking us into the realm of artificial, right? Artificial intelligence is right around the corner. Do we want that? Does anybody want that? I don't know where it went too far. It's already gone too far. I kind of thought that if the pandemic really took hold and people got sick like they thought they would, that it would make us wake up and go back to nature. Because, don't trust me, I'm not somebody who goes camping and does all this stuff, but it's obvious that, you know, when we watched things like Lord of the Rings and they were living in the trees and stuff like that, that made more sense. That made so much more sense. It was more ideal than, right now I'm looking at a commercial. It's got one of those like Roomba vacuums and the lady's on the computer with her headphones in, and it's just like, it's too much technology. It just went to, people jumped at it too much. Every new gadget that came out, everybody had to run after it, and it's put us into a place where we can't do anything. We can't do it. We're slaves to this. We're slaves to electricity. And I think that we need to think of how to live without it. Not to live without it, but make sure that, you know, power goes out, you got a fireplace, you got a wood stove, you got a way to, I don't know, like a hand crank fridge or something like that if you need medication. You know, something where you have, there's always backup that's, you know, like I said, in nature. I think that Ed Begley Jr. guy, he's pretty good. I think he has his exercise bike hooked up to stuff so that he can power it. Stuff like that, you know? Like if your workout equipment powered the house, what's wrong with that? Or if, you know, you had some kind of water system that, what are those things where it would, you know how water made power? I don't know what it was. It's not a windmill, obviously, because that's wind. But you get my meaning, you know? A lot of different sources of energy so that if one should fail, and if you in your home cannot draw power from the grid, from the outside infrastructure, that you're going to be okay, you know? I mean, there are times lately where, because I was worried about storms or whatever, I was trying to look for a place. It's like, Where can you live where you can't have, where you don't need a heater and you don't need an air conditioner? You know, and it's like, well, I guess nowhere anymore. That's the problem. So we got to think of something else. There must have been ways in the olden times, you know, if they made their huts out of a certain kind of clay that could cool and heat. I don't know. Some archaeologists or people who study that stuff, they probably know. But we have to not abandon technology, not get rid of everything, but have everything intertwined so we can survive, so people can survive, and a natural disaster isn't gonna, you know what I mean? Like floating houses, like houseboats with fireplaces that have those, what are those things? You know, that, like the water thing. I'm trying to think of the old boats that they had, the gambling boats. I'm doing a Karma Chameleon. You know what I mean? So that mechanical, but not electricity. You know what I mean? Oh God, these cars drive me crazy with all the noise. But yeah, something that we got to find a new way, and it's not no more technology. It's not 5G. It's let's go back. Let's step back a little bit. You know, let's think about half being prepared for the apocalypse, you know, but still having a toe into, you know, the internet and everything else. I'm just really freaked out. I hope that somehow nobody else dies in Texas. I have the worst feeling they're going to find a bunch of people. I said before that there were going to be people who thought they were okay and then they were just going to freeze. That's happened, you know, and there's something so flippant about the national news coverage, like, oh, it's just weather. This was different. The minute they said it was going to be 6 in Texas, I knew it was really, something was really, really different. And that's days ago now. And the news people on national news are still reporting it like, gee, they're in a deep freeze. Gee, let's hope it gets better. Let's have our fingers crossed. It's like, fingers crossed isn't helping anybody. You know, they should have been, the National Guard, the whole freaking army should have been down there evacuating people to somewhere, to different states or stuff like that. And they just were like, oh, well, like not really understanding that these people were suddenly in freezing cold houses where the water was not working and burst pipes, or just, like I said, Katrina level catastrophe. But because there's not, you know, feet and feet of water, they can't recognize it because people are dim and they don't see something obvious. They think, oh, it's cold. This is massive. But you know what? Last year and the year before, with the forest fires and the wildfires in California, the news media did the same thing. Like, oh yeah, it's wildfires anyway. Like, it's all the same, like it's always been. It's like, no. These are huge, massive, destructive disasters that are happening. And you're acting like, oh, it's just Tuesday. Well, you know what? Lives are being destroyed all the time by these massive catastrophes. And instead, they act like that's nothing. But instead, they got the whole world to ruin the economy because of a flu-like illness. We need to go back to nature. Humankind, mankind, humankind. We need to go back to nature. We need to do it fast.